Hello, Renee Flamont here. I'm half looking at her because I want her to stay looking ahead and stay with us. I know she takes off a lot. I've told you before that I won't get political on this channel. But that doesn't mean I don't know what's going on in our great big world, okay? I often think of how fortunate we are here in this country, in this century, with modern conveniences and inventions to make our life easier. And I just don't take any of it for granted. I think of it more often than the average person, I think. And I began saying this certain expression in times that were tough as a way of checking myself back into reality. I whisper it to myself if something bad is transpiring, and it helps. We're not in Darfur. Very simple sentence. And you know I'm going to break it down. It's going to mean more by the end of the thing. And then one day I shared it with my cousin. And she so loved it so much that now I'm bringing it to you. What happened was this. The cousin that I always talk about, this was about a year ago, we were going to stay at someone's house that we knew. When we walked in, my cousin was just a little thrown by how this person kept their house. We can't stay here. I said, no, we had to put sheets on the bed. You know, it's whatever. But in all fairness, also, the person has health issues. So, you know, they're not really in the best condition to be worrying about housekeeping stuff. It was fine. But she was ready to, I said, look, I looked right at her and I go, we're not in Darfur. We're in a temperature-controlled house. We have clean water. We have beds. We have working toilets and showers. We have clean sheets. We just have to put them on the beds. And I went on and on and on. Well, she loved it. She says it all the time. That was a year ago. She says it all the time now. When we're venting and whatever, you can say that and it puts things into perspective. And I'm telling you, this was over a year ago. And we are still saying it. She is still saying it with me now all the time. And I suppose today we could say Ukraine, these poor people. You could definitely say Ukraine. You can insert, there she is. You can insert many different countries there, right? Unfortunately, there are a long list of places that could be said as well. I just don't want anyone getting angered over me leaving out any one place that's gone through a horror. The list is endless. The word I said for very many years is Darfur, so I keep with what was said when quoting myself in this story. So here we go. And now I have to say right up bat, this is not meant to downplay any significance on something you're going through in your life. Some of you may be dealing with very serious issues of health, with a loved one, of your own health, job loss in these times. I mean, this narcissism business, which is our normal topic of conversation, that can be a wallop in life, and you feel like you're full of despair. Those depression, that all of it, very big problems as well. And I don't want to make anyone feel that they don't have a right to feel suffering, loss, misfortune. She joined us. Look at you, man. Hi. You've been facing the other way for many, many weeks. Say hello. I sound like the person now telling their dog to say hello. But you certainly have a right to feel suffering or loss or misfortune. What it is trying perhaps to demonstrate is that other than whatever it is that you're going through, your issue may be put into a different perspective of priority if you think of the people in Darfur. I'm using Darfur now. You can insert your own country, but that's the one I use. So that's what I'm using. I've already talked about that. Ukraine is a more current word that's everywhere. Your problems can be put into a different perspective if you think and watch what they're going through over there. I think of the fact that I live here all the time. All the time. And I'm so grateful. They say, I forget where or when I saw this, but you have a 1 in 400 billion chance, I think I'm getting that right, of being born where you were and when you were. And I'm telling you what, I'm glad I was born here in the 20th century and not 1300s somewhere else. I wanted to share with you this little phrase because my cousin and I have continued to realize and recognize that it really can always be a tougher situation than what it seems is presenting itself to you. And of course, that's my point. We say it all the time. All the time. And after any time that we're venting and we say it, it minimizes the problem. We cap off every vent session, you know, whether it's job or whatever. We're not in Darfur. We were out to eat. I don't care how your food comes. I'll be like, it's busy. We're not in Darfur. We're not in Darfur. They don't have food. Out to eat. What a privilege. Right? Kind of puts it into perspective. And again, you might say, well, Renee, you know, I go out to eat. I want what I want. I would send it back. I'm not saying you don't have a right, but it was very busy. It was a Friday night. We were having a blast. I'm like, you want to eat? No, we're not. Fine. All I'm saying is it can help your perspective in life with whatever problem you're going through. And you know, it's not the same as saying things could be worse. In my opinion, it's not the same. Because I guess to me, trite expressions like things could be worse, it can always be worse, sometimes lose their punch being overused. And we're not in Darfur, I guess, cites a specific worse. Whereas when you just hear things could always be worse, kind of leaves it up in the air. It doesn't frighten me. Yeah, all right. We're not in Darfur? Oh my God, I thank my lucky stars. Things could be worse? You hear it all the time. Doesn't pack a punch. I don't know. It just strikes me, and it has. My cousin loves it. And it helps any situation to diffuse anger. And I wonder if you have something that you say to yourself. Or do you count down? Or do you have a temper in public? Or to yourself? Or with your people? Or do you have the ability to keep things into perspective? This is what I turn to because I used to have a habit of making things bigger than what they were. Rather than let things simmer, let things fall into place. I would get very exacerbated, right off the bat, exacerbated. And that, you know, fuels the situation. Rather than just take a moment and say, well, we're not in Darfur. And I go from there. So you have internet problems. I was aggravated last Saturday. My internet was out all day. 2 Saturdays ago now. And they came not until 6 o'clock. Of course, it's like the one time that you have a dinner at 6 o'clock. And they were done and I made it. I was only like 45 minutes late and I had told the person, but champagne problems. I didn't sweat it. I was like, we're not in Darfur. I have cable. I have internet, to complain about not having. I have a friend. I have a car to drive to my friend's dinner. She's making me delicious Italian food, homemade, with ingredients that somebody in Darfur or the Ukraine right now would never see. So my internet was out. Now, a lot of you say, I need it though. I have my job. I know. I'm not saying our issues are not important. What I am trying to do is help you. If you are a person like I used to be that had, I look back, I had a problem prioritizing which problem was a big deal and what was little. Everything was huge. Everything was a big deal. Everything was a big, big deal. But you have internet problems. You have car problems. You have a house problem. Love life. Job. Food. These are like the areas in which any of us can have problems. Money problems, right? There are people without any of that whole list to even complain about their state of being problematic because they're absent from their life because they're in Darfur. They don't have a house. They don't have a car. They don't have internet. They don't have a love life. They don't have a job. They don't have food. They walk 10 miles to get water in some parts, longer in some parts of the world, on their head at the age of 10. I think we take a lot for granted. And I think that and again, I am not saying your problems are not severe, but if you think of things in a perspective that's different, it'll allow you to maybe take a deep breath and tackle what's in front of you. It's not insurmountable. It can't be. Anything can be fixed or whatever. I just want to let everyone know that you're okay. And some of our problems that seem so insurmountable are based on privileges that many don't have in the first place. So how insurmountable of a problem is it if it's based on things that are privileges? You should be able to live without it altogether and be fine. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm thinking of a car right now. Somebody sweating it maybe. They don't know if they can afford their car. I don't know. It's just a stupid... I would hope that's not a big deal. I don't want to get it. Whatever. I'm just saying it puts things into perspective. And I just had a chat with an older person earlier this week, which was so funny. And they were not that it was funny that they were experiencing health things at once. But while we were talking, and this older person was explaining to me all of the health things she's going through, she said, "We're not in the Ukraine." And then we further discussed that. I about fell over. She has zero idea I'm writing this outline, and I had begun writing it. It was like the same day or earlier that day, but I had just written the word Ukraine, which I said above, and then she said that. And that kind of clinched it, because I almost didn't, because I don't want to offend anybody with this. But when she said that, I thought, I'm not the only person that does it. You might have your own expression that you say, something your grandmother taught you, or an uncle taught you, or I don't know. I just started We're Not in Darfur many years ago when it was all in the news, and we're not in Darfur. But when she said we're not in the Ukraine, and she started to cry over what's going on over there. I'm telling you what, I wrote the word Ukraine, said it to you earlier in the video, and she said we're not in the Ukraine. Uncanny. And it doesn't mean that I think several health issues with this one person is a walk in the park, or that it's okay, or that she doesn't have a right to suffer or complain, and she won't complain. She was informing me she would never complain because we're not in the Ukraine. That's how her mind works as well. She's like, I can't even, Renee, I'm not even gonna, so who cares? It's fine, whatever, it is what it, won't. We're not in the Ukraine. And I just, even with several health issues happening at once, she felt fortunate to have those issues here. Yes, it's bad if people are dealing with a bunch of health issues at once, but I bet you'd rather have them here. We're not in Darfur. We're not in Darfur. And again, I don't know what you may have something that your family has always said, and I'd love to know it. I'm always looking for phrases that help snap us back into reality, that help shift your perspective if you need an adjustment. Because I can't tell you the times I got so desperate, and I look back now and I think, I'm embarrassed that I allowed something to think it meant so much, or I allowed to myself to get so incensed. And our normal topic of narcissism, throughout with the healing with a narcissistic partner, it can be very, very traumatic, and it takes a long time, as we all know who deal with that. And I did try the We're Not in Darfur, and it did make it better because I thought, well, I'm dealing with all of this web of deceit and heartbreak and whatever, but I have a house, I have food, I have people who love me. My family's around me. They're not scattered elsewhere that I can't find them. I have a car. I have clothes. I have shelter. So even as bad as that can be, or any kind of heartbreak or job loss or your house payment, make changes in your life to make them easier so that you're not sweating that. I hope we are way past the point of trying to live beyond our means. That brings people a lot of stress. We're not in Darfur. These people would love any kind of house. And I know people killing themselves to live higher than what they can afford. Makes no sense to me. Makes no sense to me. I don't do that. I don't aspire. This is the house that they will drag me out of when I'm 100. Like, I'm very happy where I sit. I don't aspire to have a bigger, better, newer, faster, more. I don't do that. And a lot of people do, and they get very wrapped up, and then mortgage interest rates change, and things go kaput, and boom, they can't pay for their life. And they're so despondent, and they feel it's insurmountable, and how am I going to tell my family that I'm going to downgrade now, and they're used to this, and I'm used to this car. I can't show up in this car. I've been driving this one. I'll be embarrassed. I heard somebody say that once. Embarrassed? You're a hardworking individual. You're providing for yourself and your family, and you're working an honest day's work in the life. You shouldn't be embarrassed about anything, and you certainly shouldn't be sweating any kind of those problems. We're not in Darfur. Everyone's going to be okay. Now, for those of you suffering with health problems, that makes me very sad. That makes me very sad. And I do not want this misinterpreted as I'm trying to minimize what anyone is going through. That is absolutely not what this is trying to do. And I feel very bad, and I pray, and my thoughts go out to anyone dealing with anything like that. My thoughts go out to anyone dealing with any of the aforementioned problems, including their internet out. People do need that for work. Jobs are important right now. People are losing their jobs. The whole world is in upheaval. People are having all kinds of problems. All kinds of problems. And I feel bad for all of them. This is not, I can't say it enough. It is a perspective helper, I guess. We just had a conversation the other night, our 2-hour little visit that we do, and she's in North Carolina and I'm here, and I don't remember now the topic, and at the end we both said at the same time, we're not in Darfur. And it nips it in the bud, whereas you might have spent 3 hours in the past discussing a certain topic that seems like an insurmountable thing. Now, since she heard me say that, she'll stop herself and say, we're not in Darfur, and she'll be on to the next subject. Meaning, I told you what was going on, it's aggravating me, but we're not in Darfur. It's an unbelievable reality check. And if you should get one for yourself, I want you to share it with us, because I'm very into knowing what can make people feel better, what can make myself feel better. And I want to know what works for you. I just wanted to bring that up. We're not in Darfur. I can't believe the woman the other day said we're not in the Ukraine. So God bless those people. God bless the people in Darfur and any other area of the world that needs it. Today's Friday. I wanted to bring up Sydney again. I might be going to Australia. And this coming Monday, I've been announcing it at the end of the videos, all 5 of this week, that I'm going to be moving now to Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It was a dual purpose thing. I've tried 7 days a week. All last year, I tried 5 days a week up until now. And I was researching and learning that 3 times a week could be even a better number. But I know some of you like it every day. So that's why I'm putting the 2 every day. I'm trying to pick at least a couple of videos that may, if you're interested in this topic, maybe you'd find this one interesting too, or maybe they connect or whatever. Because I know some of you tell me that you listen on the way to work every morning and you like it. Pick one of the videos I recommend for Tuesday or Thursday and Saturday and Sunday. But I may be out of country and I don't know for how long. She's going to graduate. We're going to move her back. She has to get out to law school, wherever that's going to be. So the next 6 months, I'm flat out. So the timing of it all worked out perfectly. They gave us 2 weeks notice on this graduation. So right now we're researching whether or not I'm even going. But if I do, then I can comment. But I don't know how it's going to go with posting once I'm over there. I suppose I'll work that out. But I wish I had more of a warning. It's generally my desire to have more of a warning. But they pepper these graduations. We don't know how it works. And they gave us less than 2 weeks notice. So effective Monday, I'll be Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I hope you continue. And please look at those videos for Tuesdays and Thursdays. The research said, this is why, again, I'll explain it because I want to make sure you understood. The research said that sometimes maybe it's better if you're making content like ours, which is evergreen, so you can refer back to old videos and they mean just as much today. You can do what I'm doing and suggest fillers for Tuesday and Thursday because they say people might actually have to catch up. If you're someone that posts so much, your audience has to catch up on what you post. And the people in these videos I've been watching, they say, I can't watch every video every day of everybody I follow. And if you give your videos a day in between, it gives them a chance to grow. It gives everybody a chance to view it. And I buy that. That sounds like that makes sense to me. But I want to make sure we review old videos. They're great lessons. I listen to them repeatedly. Nothing gets old. It's as true today as the day I made it. And for those of you that want 5 or 7 days a week or binge, pick the couple that I, recommend with the video and save that and do that on Tuesday. You know what I mean? And then that way there you can do it every day or whenever you wanted. But I'm saying that way there you can get your dose every day. It is all evergreen content. There's no content that I've made that it's not like gadgets or technical things or the weather or news. It's not current events. So nothing gets old. Please dive in. There's almost 500 videos that's a lot of material. And I want to make sure we're not forgetting these beautiful gems. I love every video we've made, even the ones in the beginning, because it's our whole journey represented for me. And it was quite a year. So when I look back and I review, and I want you to keep it in your mind, I've become friends with many of my audience. There are some of those months that I was going through some rough stuff that you're all going through now. And a lot of people tell me now, you look so happy, you look so free and light and, bright eyes and not heavy and weighed down. And that's because I'm free of all of that narcissism business. But when I look back on those videos, I look up the day I made it. I look up the day I posted it. I look up in my daily planner. I know what I was going through. It's not easy to watch some of them. I'm not saying I'm upset in them, but I remember the day and how I was feeling. And you'd be shocked how many times I was broken, told myself, we're not in Darfur, got into my privileged spot and recorded something to put on the internet that they don't have if they're in a village in Darfur. So that propelled me through. It's funny, but so I'll be going back down to Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It happens to coincide when things are going to be a whirlwind right now. I might go there. She's coming home. Got to get her to law school. Things are going to be out of control for about 6 months. Happy stuff. I haven't seen her in over 2 years. Talk about how many times I kept saying we're not in Darfur over that. I have an only child. It's been over 2 years I've seen her. So, but we're not in Darfur. She's going to come home. It's going to be great. And I'm going down to Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I can't wait because I'm curious. I've tried different things, and I'm curious to know what that does to the channel. Maybe they're right. Maybe it gives people more time to look at each one. That might be good. I'd be curious to know. Anyway, I thank you for tuning in. I thank you for watching. I love our audience. And please go ahead and hit sub, like, and share. And let me know if you have something that your family's always said. Because I love new material. I would love to know what it is. I'm always looking for expressions that help me put a problem into perspective. And some of you may have things that your family has said for years. I would like to know what they are. So let us know. Give us some comments. Thank you so much, and I'll see you Monday.